have this discussion with Bharat Dabolkar, some people from who are outside from India. Bharat Dabolkar sir has been an advertising professional, has led many brands to successful campaigns and to market victory, if you call it. And he has an alter ego of also being a theater director and film director, film actor. And he's been a pioneer in multiple areas. Now, in the age of AI, when all of us are now thinking of becoming a polymath, Bharat sir has been doing this since ages when artificial intelligence was not even a common term. All right. So you are now with the royalty of narrative building, royalty of brand storytelling, and storytelling in general. So I would like to get Bharat sir on. Bharat sir, if you can hear me, if you can just turn on your camera.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah, yeah. Is it on?
not yet, sir. We have people joining in. People drop in a heart, drop in a thumbs up, drop in a welcome to Bharat sir. For people who have just joined in, we are in the narrative room. The narrative room is where we break down multiple of brands, multiple of brand narratives, their storytelling, and also understand your own narrative. And we will understand that based on whatever have been the successful narratives. This particular episode is focused on Amul, and of course, Amul has been there in the industry since 70 years. Bharat sir has been a pioneer in making it a household name, and we are not just going to speak about Amul, but also going to learn from his experience. And let's just quickly get going. Bharat sir, if you can see me 1 second, I'm just adding you to the stage. Yes, Bharat sir, we can
Yeah,
see you.
yeah,
Thank you so
yeah.
much for joining the narrative room. I'm Shantanu.
Yeah, that's it.
Been
Hi.
your, I've been your fan since 8 years. Whenever I launch this
Don't say that.
we as see most of the time we are fans of actors, fans of directors. Bharat sir, you have been in all the facets of the industry, so I am really a fan of the polymath in you, and I really want to have this conversation. I hope this conversation goes in a way which also benefits the audience who's watching at this stage, benefits me, and it's worth enough your time. So welcome sir, welcome to the
Yeah.
narrative room.
Thank you.
uh,
Thank you. Thank you so much.
well,
Thank you.
thanks, sir. So, if you can just enlighten us on how do you want to introduce yourself and what are you doing currently?
You introduced me quite well. I am an advertising professional. I'm a lawyer by education, lawyer and a business management graduate, then advertising. Then through advertising, then I got into theater. And through theater, I got into television. Through television, I got into films. The whole idea of doing all of this was not to be a polymath or something. The idea was just to have fun. So I
Correct.
had this basic principle that I would take up anything that comes my way. Most of the time, what happens is people don't, when they are established or comfortable in a particular field, they don't want to try out something that's different because they may fail in that or they may get ridiculed in that. So people don't take those kinds of chances. My thing was, if I'm enjoying it, I don't give a damn if it works out well or not. I'm the world's worst actor. I am pretty pathetic. When I write a play, when I'm a writer director of a play, I take the smallest role because I'm a pretty bad actor. But then I said, if I'm enjoying doing it and if people do cast me, why should I complain? Somebody will say, come on, yeah, Bharat was doing so well in advertising. Why is he getting into all these stupid things where he can't do it so well? It doesn't matter to me. I have a great time doing it. And when I do films, for instance, no film works because of me or fails because of me. So it doesn't really matter because I'm just a little side role in that. So I'm just having fun. I know all these people. A lot of these stars are friends of mine from before they became film stars and before they got into films. So I'm very comfortable dealing with them. People like Jackie Shroff, Salman Khan, Shah Rukh, and all these guys are friends, like Mithun Chakravarti now, John Abraham. So they're all friends of mine from before even they got into films. Juhi Chawla. So I'm comfortable working with them in films. Theater, I've been doing theater for the last 40 years now. So we've sort of different kinds of people got together and we became a team and it was fun. So for me, everything went simultaneously. Advertising, theater, films, television, it all worked at the same time. It just meant that I had to have a longer day I couldn't sort of after office go and sit and have a beer in a bar. I had to go for my rehearsals. So I had to sacrifice those kinds of things. But I don't drink in any case. I have never in my I have handled all the liquors that Vijay Mallya launched in the country,
Okay.
from McDowell Number One to Signature Whiskey to Honeybee Brandy to London Pilsner beer to everything. I have handled all of that, and I have never touched a drop of liquor in my entire life, not even wine or liqueur.
Wow.
So I have no desire to after office go and have a quick beer and go home. So I would rather go for a rehearsal or go for a shoot. So that was the reason,
Your
and I had fun
vices,
doing all this.
but you don't have any vices, sir. That's so. How
I
do you
have, I
how do you
have,
do
I
it?
have no, I don't drink, I don't smoke. So I have no major vices. I have no minor vices, and major vices I can't afford. So I remain viceless because of that.
Nice. So, sir, tell me, you have been doing multiple things, right? From brands to the films to the series to theater. How is
Yeah.
the experience from these different facets? Of course, part of media only, but different outcomes helped you in each and every part. Like an advertising, how is the theater help you in advertising, or a film help you in theater? How is it? How do you juggle between that, and what's the learning there?
I'll tell you what, all these are complementary to each other because in advertising, we learn about how to communicate to different people. But when you are in touch with theater, you meet music directors, you meet singers. If you're doing films, you meet actors. So you can connect all of these things together because you have access to all these kinds of things. If I'm doing an ad film or an ad campaign, I don't have to think which music director or which singer should I use because I know all of them. Because of my theater, I know them. If I use Louis Banks for 15 of my plays to do music, I know Louis Banks. I know all the big guys, you know. I know Louis Banks, I know Ranjit Barot, I know Shivamani because they've all been a part of my theater musical recordings. So it's easy for me to get them to do advertising jingles for me. When I do theater, when I do films, I know these guys. So if I were to approach, say, Salman Khan for a campaign or Juhi Chawla for a campaign, I don't need to go through their secretaries and find out what happens because they're friends of mine. So if I want to use a film star for one of my campaigns, which I don't believe that you should use celebrities for your advertising campaigns. I personally believe that you could use a film star in a campaign only if you don't have a good idea. And
Right.
nowadays, people are replacing good ideas with film stars, which is a wrong thing to do. So I
Absolutely.
these are
Doing
so
everything.
these are so that's what's happened. That's been the common thing nowadays that people expect that we don't have a great idea, but we can get Amitabh Bachchan. So I think the product would work. It doesn't work that way. A good idea always is better than a celebrity film star.
Sir, I
So
think
I keep them.
nugget. This is the gold nugget from this particular session because right now everybody is focused on the shiny little object and
Yeah,
bad ideas are getting thrown out. So, do you
yeah.
see major shift in the market at this stage, or do you think that it is a natural evolution where we are at?
No, see, I tell you what, people, the marketing and advertising guys, they haven't realized two basic things in this. One is that film stars have tremendous appeal in terms of recognition.
Right.
Everybody in India can recognize a film star. That does not mean they have credibility. Unless you are using a film star that is an expert in that field, film star or a cricketing star. We only have two celebrity lots, which is cricket and films. Now, if you are using a Dhoni for cricketing shoes or for a health drink, that makes sense. But if you use Dhoni to sell a building project of a builder, that makes no sense. If you're using Naren Karthikeyan, who was a Formula One driver for a speed petrol, that makes sense. But if you use Naren Karthikeyan for uh, fashionable clothing, that doesn't make sense because he's not the fashion icon. He's a racing car driver. So when you use celebrities, you must keep in mind that are they appropriate for my brand? For
Hmm.
instance, I had launched years ago. I had launched for Amul. We had launched a product called Nutramul, which is a choco malt drink like Bonvita and Boost and all. And
Right.
I sort of tried to figure out all over India who is the icon that they think as an icon of strength. And what
Hmm.
came across was Dara Singh was a name that kept on popping up all over India. Even if you went to a gym, they said, "Kya gym mein jate hai, Dara Singh banne ka hai kya?" Dara Singh had become synonymous with strength.
Correct.
So I said, if I use Dara Singh for Nutramul, it makes sense. Because Nutramul is supposed to be a strength drink. But
Correct.
if I was using Dara Singh for a watch, that won't make sense because I don't know Dara Singh as somebody who has a passion for watches.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
And
remember
what's the
years
name?
ago for Tata. I remember for years ago for Tata Tea, I handled all the Tata Tea brands, all the brands that are in the market. I launched most of them. And for one Tata Tea brand, they had used Amjad Khan. Now that made sense because Amjad Khan was known as a tea drinker. In all the
Correct.
media interviews, they used to always talk about I drink 20 cups of tea in a day, I drink 30 cups of tea in a day. So using Amjad Khan to sell a cup of tea made sense. Or
Correct.
for one, like we used to handle Lakme, we used Rekha. So Rekha was known as somebody who was known for her makeup techniques. So to
Correct.
use Rekha as a fashion model that time made sense because in media they were known for these kinds of attributes. So it's very important that if you are using a star, use a star that is appropriate for your product. Ideally, don't use a star. Get a better idea, and that will always work. But one
Hmm.
thing that
That.
I've learned in advertising, as I said, because I do these three, four things: advertising, theater, television, and films. Theater is very easy. You do a thing, you know who your audience is, you know what they like. You put
Because
up
they're
a
in front
play.
of
You
because
no,
they're in
you
front
have a
of
certain. They're in front of you, and you know Marathi theater has a certain kind of audience that they know what they
yeah.
like. English
Correct.
theater has a certain kind of audience. They don't see any other play but English play. So you know those guys. So
Correct.
you put up a play. If you find that they don't like something, next show you can change it.
Correct.
Or you can add something. You find something is some 5 minutes are going very dull, you have to add something interesting in that, you can do that. In cinema, the same thing happens. Most of the time, you know what people like. Salman Khan knows that his audience, his fans, want him to take his shirt off at least once in a film. And they wait
Correct.
for that.
Yeah.
Amitabh
Yeah.
Bachchan film, they know that people want to see Amitabh Bachchan, hear Amitabh Bachchan's voice.
Correct.
I think in one film he didn't use the voice and people were disappointed. So in films and in theater, you know who you are talking to.
Hmm.
Advertising is the most challenging of all the businesses because you are talking to people you don't know. I am trying to sell a product to a lady sitting in Mumbai, in the South Mumbai area, to a lady sitting in Dombivli, to a lady sitting in Bihar in a village, to a lady sitting in Kerala in a village. I don't know who they are. I don't know if they think similarly. And I have if I have to make my product successful, I must sell to all of them. And that is the challenge, and that is what makes advertising so fascinating compared to all the other communication devices.
I hope people you are getting an idea as to whom you are speaking to. Some of one person has said, "Sorry to interrupt, but I've seen this man as an antagonist in any movie." But you have to understand,
Yeah,
has
that's a big
been
image.
part of most of these brands that he's speaking about. People have been speaking about influencers. People have been speaking about creating like content and stuff like that. Bharat sir has worked with the main influencers of the past and he still does. So this is something
Yeah.
where I want you guys to also hold a notepad while he's speaking. Note things down because this is very important. This is not a random podcast. This is where
No,
you have to take.
and there's one stupid concept that has now come into doing things, whether it's advertising models or theater. People
Right.
say, "How many followers does this person have?"
Oh,
And that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. I may have an actor or an actress who has 4 million followers. My
right.
show is in Bandra in Mumbai. How many of those followers stay in Bandra area to see a play in Bandra? He may have a follower in America or London or Barcelona, or he may have followers in Bandra who are 18 years old. They don't come and see English plays because English plays are too expensive for youngsters to come and see. We have an older audience. So that 4 million followers don't make a damn sense to me.
No,
Nowadays,
absolutely.
I'm told that people are choosing models on the basis of how many followers they have, which I think is extremely dumb. You're supposed to choose a model who suits the kind of personality you're trying to project through the campaign,
So that
not somebody
fundamental
who has followers.
never changes, right now, because why I'm asking that, because even we work with multiple brands, they tell us this is the celebrity, reverse engineer the concept based on that,
No, doesn't work. Doesn't work.
and it
That
does not
doesn't work.
work. Absolutely doesn't work. We don't see
I'll,
any
I'll,
of the.
I'll give you a simple example.
Yes.
Amitabh Bachchan, I've acted with him in a film. He is one of the most brilliant actors that we have in the industry today. But if you use Amitabh Bachchan wearing a suit and pointing in one direction, whether it is Kalyan Jewelers or some Kesh Tel or a bank, makes no sense. If you are using Amitabh Bachchan, if I had to use Amitabh Bachchan, I would say, let's figure out what qualities does Amitabh Bachchan have. If I was,
Right.
let's say, suggesting Amitabh Bachchan for a builder, I would say Amitabh Bachchan internationally is known for his punctuality. If
No,
there's a 9
absolutely.
o'clock shift, he is there at 9 o'clock sharp. Let's use
Right.
that in your campaign. Let's say, like Amitabh Bachchan, if we promise that we'll keep your building ready, we'll keep it ready on the day we give it because we learned that from Amitabh Bachchan, punctuality. Amitabh
So
Bachchan is known for
sir,
use
punctuality.
his qualities.
Correct,
Use
correct.
his qualities in your. Don't just use him as a figure standing there and pointing at your name.
Extremely well said. Thank you so much for that insight. Don't you think, sir, that that is a part of the narrative which Amitabh Bachchan is across the society, which an ad should use so that at least it fits in right instead of force fitting or retrofitting some random story of the brand.
Like I'm
Is
telling
that
you,
what?
Amitabh Bachchan. If I had to use Amitabh Bachchan, let's say for a builder, like I said, what I would say is, okay, one is punctuality. What's the other thing? Longevity. He is the longest surviving superstar in the country.
Oh
So I
yeah,
would say, like
absolutely.
Amitabh Bachchan, if we build a building, it'll last and last and last and go on and on and on.
Right,
Amitabh
right,
Bachchan is known for being a stylish person. I would say our construction, our decoration, so use Amitabh Bachchan's qualities to promote your product. Don't just make him stand there in a suit and point in one direction and say Kalyan Jewelers or whatever else that he's doing. That's wrong. You're wasting your money.
absolutely, absolutely. There is some light issue. Do you want to take some?
Yeah, I just want to check that.
No problem.
आशिष अरे इकडे तू लाईट बंद झाला.
For people who do
I'm
not
just
know what
checking on that.
Bharat sir is speaking language. Marathi is what we sir speak. We are from the local
I,
Maharashtra.
I've, I, I've done my entire schooling in Marathi. I couldn't speak a single sentence in English till I came to college.
Sir,
That's
nobody.
another.
It's not some a popular knowledge, or maybe it is, and I might be underwhelming it. But you are the father of English language, the language of Hindi and English, right? They call you father of English language.
Yeah, but that's a wrong. That's a misnomer because I'm not the father of. It was not some intelligent thing that I did. बंद झाला आपोआप. No, so I'll tell you how it started. I've said that millions of times, but I'll repeat it again uh, if I have to.
No problem.
Can you see? I hear right. What's it right, sir? See, I did my entire schooling in Marathi. Okay, I've said it a million times, so I shouldn't be actually repeating it, but I will. I couldn't speak a single sentence in English. I knew English, but all of us who come from vernacular schools, we are scared to speak English because we feel that we won't get the right word to speak at that time. Correct? I joined Elphinstone College, which at that time was Elphinstone and Xavier's were these super sophisticated South Bombay colleges.
Right.
And I had, as I always say very fondly, I had 145 of the prettiest girls in Mumbai in my class, and only 5 boys. And one of the boys was blind. One was the principal's son, so he couldn't be seen talking to girls. One was studious. That left two of us who were very keen on talking to girls. And I always say this, nobody has to believe it, but I was better looking than that guy, but I couldn't speak English. Even if a
Right.
girl came to me and said, shall we bunk the next lecture and go for a film? I would answer that in my mind first. In my mind, I would say, आईला घरी जेवायला येतो म्हणून सांगितलंय. I have told my mother I'm coming home for lunch. I would say
Correct.
that. So by the time I had an answer ready for her, she would have gone for a film and come back. Then I realized that there is nothing like perfect English. All of us speak English with a lot of our mother tongue words in that. Maharashtrians
Correct.
have the intonation is Maharashtrian. We use
Correct.
Marathi words. Tamilians use Tamil words. Biharis use Bihari words. So I said, if I can't find the right appropriate English word, I know Marathi, I know Hindi. I've grown up with Gujaratis and Malbaris. I can speak Gujarati fluently. I read, write, and speak Gujarati. I said, I can use a Gujarati word. So why can't I speak the way all of us speak? So I started speaking like that in college. So I could talk to girls. And that later on helped me in advertising and it helped me in theater. Because I realized
Absolutely.
that that is the language of India. We call it empathy in advertising.
Hmm.
Can you get your listener or your audience to empathize with what you are saying? That's the most important thing in advertising, empathy. So I realized that this kind of a language creates tremendous empathy.
When
People
you say
want to listen to you.
break it down more relatable, that's how it is. If I have to break down the
Is
empathy,
it's relatable, and I'll tell you what happens. It makes you feel comfortable.
comfortable. Okay.
When you hear Shashi Tharoor talk, you hate the guy because he speaks so brilliantly. You can't match up to him, you know.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you'll end up feeling inferior talking to him. Even if you speak English, you can't speak English the way he speaks.
Correct.
Now we
Correct.
always say, suppose you go to a mantralaya in Mumbai and there's a Maharashtrian clerk sitting there, and we have to go to him to get your work done. You speak to him in English. He feels inferior to you because he can't speak English as well as you do. So he
Correct.
is a bit reluctant to talk to you. But you speak to him in Marathi, and that brings him to the same level as you. He's more than willing to. Same thing happens if you go to Chennai and you go and speak in Tamil. The clerk in the Chennai Mantralaya would be very happy to help you because you're speaking Tamil and he is better than you in Tamil. So it creates a sort of a equal playing field.
Hmm.
Speaking the same
Absolutely.
language, similar accents, all these things matter a lot because it creates equal playing field, and that is what communication is all about.
So,
And I
sir,
always
tell me.
say,
Sorry, please go ahead.
no, I'm saying communication is not about perfection of a language. It's about perfection of communication.
Hmm.
If I speak wrong English, does that communicate better? Then I should speak wrong English. Because
Hmm.
I'm not an English expert. I'm a communication expert. So if I use a Tamil word, I should do Amul Butter hoardings in every language.
Hmm.
I would do Amul Butter hoarding in English. I would do it in Tamil for Chennai, for Tamil Nadu. I would do it in Bengali for West Bengal. I would do it in
Correct.
Marathi for Dadar and other places in Marathi places in Mumbai. And that made it popular. Why? Because people related to that. That was their language. And
No,
that matters
absolutely.
a lot in communication.
Absolutely. 100% it matters. Right now, just bringing it back to the language conversation, AI is now large language model, which is
Yeah,
predominant was coding language, but then it has made it
yeah,
into an English
yeah,
language. We can speak to AI in our own mother tongue, but the data
yeah,
set mostly on the internet where the AI scripts from is English. How do you
yeah.
see us changing that, and how do you see narrative and a marketing or an advertiser's role in that?
See, I'll tell you one thing. I've started learning, I'm going to AI classes because I want to learn AI. Because as they always say that AI won't replace me, but a person who knows AI will replace me. So I want to be that person who knows AI. So I'm learning AI right now, and the more I learn, I realize that it's growing day by leaps and bounds. And a time is going to come when I will not need to shoot an ad film. Even now, in the next 2 months, I don't need to shoot an ad film by getting models or a location. I can shoot
Correct.
entire ad film as good as what the real models can do on AI.
Absolutely.
And I was listening to a friend of mine who's a film director saying that in the next 1 year, I don't have to shoot a film with actors and locations. I'll shoot it in AI on my computer.
Absolutely.
And
So
that no
that is
matter how dangerous it sounds, that's going to happen.
no,
And then
it
people
looks.
had this thing, and I'll tell you one thing: I've met all the old people. They have resistance to new things coming in. I
Hmm.
remember this because when we used to deal with ad filmmakers and digital cameras came into being, and all the DOPs, the director of photography, would say, digital is fine, but it doesn't get the depth of what we can get with the 35 camera because they didn't want to change.
Correct.
And digital doesn't have the kind of lenses that we need for our things. It just has one lens. But then digital
Correct.
started getting those lenses. So I'm saying that don't resist the change. Adapt that and master that change. I
Absolutely.
meet people who come and say, yeah, AI is fine, but it can't give you the kind of emotions that it can give. And I see, I'm trying this every day. I can
Hmm.
get a pretty girl. I can give a. Yesterday I was learning this, and I said, give me a a pretty village girl from Tamil Nadu speaking a few sentences in Tamil. And that person gave me, the AI gave me some 20 visuals of different ages of Tamilian women standing in a village in a farm and talking one sentence in Tamil. Then I said, can you change this to an Assamese woman in Assamese farm? And they changed it to that. And they were as good as any model that I can get. Then people say, oh, but you can make out the difference. But it doesn't matter if you can make out the difference. I
Absolutely. I
want to
mean,
see,
if you correct, you watch animation films, nobody's talking about what software it is made on.
I,
People are
I,
reacting.
I, forget animation films. I see AI things that keep on cropping up on my computer. I take it to the guy I'm learning AI from and ask him, is this AI or is it real? I can't make out. They are expressive, they're damn good, they're prettier than the real people. I can get a
Yes.
man who's muscular, more muscular than Salman Khan. I can get a woman who's more pretty than Aishwarya Rai. On AI, why
Absolutely.
do I need to employ these guys and spend crores of rupees?
No, no, absolutely. I understand, sir. We have a studio where we shoot movies and series. In fact, Ankur, who is also part of the team, I handle the
Yeah,
entire vertical. And trust me, sir, my vertical and the live action vertical, the revenue is the same. And I'm just sitting with two people in the team, with one
I'll give
people.
you. I'll give you an example. Some years ago, I was an advisor to a very big company which handles does all these pickles and papads and all those kinds of things.
Right,
And we were doing a Diwali campaign for them. It was three films, 10-second films. The idea was that you have a pretty Maharashtrian girl who's doing Rangoli, and that Rangoli she makes a figure of eight. And that figure of eight comes alive and it's at 8 rupees ki choot on this Diwali. Then she's doing some full jhadi and she's moving that thing around and it makes a figure of eight and then comes into an animation and says 8 rupees ki choot. We are making three films like this. Same model, just change her clothes. Little Diwali background, kandil in the bang and some diyas and things like that.
right.
Let's say that time the producer charged us 10 lakhs for making those three films. A year and a half ago, when AI wasn't as advanced as it is today, I met a group of youngsters at some seminar who were dealing in AI, and I said, I'll give you a concept. These are three ads that I want to make, 10 seconds each. And it has one pretty girl in a Maharashtrian sari, and she's doing this, and that figure becomes eight, and it says 8 rupees ki choot. All the three, it says 8 rupees ki choot. How much will you charge me? 30 seconds. So they said, we'll charge you 1.5 lakhs.
Oh,
We'll charge you 50,000 rupees for 10 seconds. And we'll create that whole thing in front of you. You can change the girl. You want to be prettier. You want her to be older, younger. We'll do all of that. More fair, more dark. Now, why would I spend 10 lakhs to make the same film if I can do it in AI? And what difference would it make to the consumer? What are they
absolutely.
seeing? They're seeing a pretty girl. The
Correct.
message I want to give is 8 rupees ki choot. Now, whether that girl is made by AI or she's a real model, she's a pretty girl in a Maharashtrian sari. So that's the broad image I'm creating for them. Nobody, consumers don't give a damn if it's AI or real person.
Absolutely. Right now, everybody's just speaking about the same thing. If it's AI, it looks very AI. I mean, it is AI. It will look AI. What's the
Yeah,
problem?
so what difference it make? What difference it make to me?
Correct. Correct. It
Now,
doesn't.
when now I'll tell you one thing. Now, in a popular film, let's say a film like Chhawa that came,
Hmm.
there was a scene of this one guy standing in the middle of 100 people and throwing them all around the place and killing them. That's not real.
Hmm.
In reality, one guy can't stand in front of 100 people with swords and throw them around like this.
Correct.
It's not real. Who gives a damn? I don't give a damn.
It's
He's a
entertaining.
hero. I'm Mike. It worked. It worked because of that. It wasn't like a normal film where that guy was fighting with two people. It was he's fighting with 100 people. The people throwing spears at him. They're doing all kinds of things, and he's beating everybody. And people loved it. It didn't matter to people. It didn't matter to people that that was not real. There is computer graphics. It didn't matter. People, if it is AI, it wouldn't make a difference.
No, absolutely. No, I'm with you, sir. With you. Absolutely.
So I think that is the thing. I think it's the older people who resist change. And advertising is not for older people, it's for young people like us.
Of course. So now
Still
I have
learning
a
AI.
question. I have one more question. If at all it is, what is the difference? And I generally get very ticked off when ad filmmakers call their films film, when the entire narrative or the entire DNA of actual film is a different outcome altogether, and advertising is a different outcome altogether. These
Yeah.
days, I see a lot of celebrity ad film directors who are getting threatened
Hmm.
by AI. In your time, do you think, or even in the current times, do you think ad film directors should call their advertising films, or films should be a sacred medium altogether? What do you think? Because I know I read about you saying that advertising has one goal is to sell.
Advertising is not fine arts, it's commercial art.
Hmm.
Advertising exists to sell a product. We are a small part of a marketing mix. We are not ad. I remember there was some controversies some last year or something about some Diwali ads and some Hindu Muslim things. A Hindu girl married into a Muslim family, and I said that is not our job. We are not
Ah,
here to make social changes. We are here to sell a damn product. It doesn't matter if a Hindu girl is married in Muslim family, Muslim. It makes no damn difference to us. We don't create social changes. We sell a product. We must always remember that. I always even say this that advertising does not have the guts or the need to do anything. We will not show a housewife in a miniskirt because the housewife is. But tomorrow, if Hindi films start showing housewives in miniskirts, we'll know that people accept that. Then we'll show her in a miniskirt.
correct.
We'll
So
take our
society.
cues from we'll
So
take our cues from films.
okay, but so films is an exact representation of a society than an ad.
Yeah,
Both are different, right? Altogether. So
yeah. But we take our cues from what is acceptable to the masses from films.
okay, so art films or commercial films acting like art films. What? How do you see the difference, and what is the right mix to have a proper film? What is the
I think the distinction is not art film and commercial film. The distinction is successful films and unsuccessful films. Films that are seen by many people and films that are seen by less number of people. There's nothing like art film and thing. Every film is an art film.
correct? Correct.
Every
So
film, every play is an art play. If I put up a play which has songs and dances, and if people are and our show runs for 300 shows and watched by 1,000 people at every show, that's just commercial success. If I do a play and says I don't give a damn who sees it, and 5 people see it or 100 people see it, and it runs for 5 shows, that doesn't make it an art play. That makes it an unsuccessful play. So there's no
but
art and commercial. There's success and failure because we are again into commercial art. Art film should not be shown in a theater. Then you should call your friends and show them in private shows because then
don't
you're showing
expect.
them how beautiful you can. The moment you ask people to pay money to come and see whether it's a play or a film or a product, you can't take the thing that, oh, but I'm doing artistic stuff. You're not allowed to do artistic stuff. If you're charging people money, do artistic stuff on your own thing. Gather your friends who think like you, meet in a small hall. They'll all love it. They'll say, my God, what fantastic things you've done. That's fine. If I'm charging a person to come and see a film, I must give him something that he wants to see, not what I want to give. Any communicator first should take himself out of the communication. It's not what I like. See what beautiful thing I can do. See what fantastic thing I can do. See, I can write a play that has it completely different. It doesn't matter. Do the audiences like it? Because you are a commercial art. You're not fine art. You want to be a fine art, you sit at home and draw a painting. You want to be fine arts, you write a poetry and don't publish a book. If you publish a book, you're asking people to buy it. P.L. Deshpande, who's one of the biggest literary figure in Marathi, had once told me when people do an art play and say people didn't understand it, it went over their heads. He's saying those plays don't go over their heads, they go under their feet. You cannot take a stance that I will do what I want, and if people don't understand it, they're stupid. They're not stupid. In advertising, we have a saying that consumer is not a moron, she's your wife. Then of course somebody came with a rejoinder to that saying consumer is a moron because she is your wife. That's a different thing. But the point is we have to advertising exists to sell a product. Theater
Correct.
exists to entertain people. It is called Drishya Kavya.
Drushaka.
In
Hmm.
so theater is supposed to Drishya Kavya, which means there's a set, there are costumes, there are things, there's a dance happening, or there's dialogues happening. It's all of that. When people come and say, I know some people who are film stars who do theater and say, we will just stand here and read a play, and people will still come and see. They don't realize that people don't come to see the play, they come to see them. People want to see film stars on stage. If Bharat Dabolkar did it, nobody would come to see that play. But if Anupam Kher does it, Nasiruddin Shah does it, they'll come because, my God, they want to see Nasiruddin Shah. Bharat Dabolkar reading the same thing, they won't come. Bharat Dabolkar has to do a Drishya Kavya. I have to have LED screens at the back. I have sets changing. I have costumes. I have dancers. I have songs. I have comedy. Then people come. If I just stood there and talked, nobody will come. So these are lots of misnomers that we have in communication industry, and we need to get
So,
rid of them.
of course, sir. But now with the AI, what has happened is all the tools where, like, right now you're a professional who's working on, because you've worked in advertising agencies, you yourself have an agency, you have worked in this industry for so long, and now you're using AI, so it becomes a tool for you. For somebody who's
Yeah,
just come into the media industry because one of the tech platforms has given or opened the gates for all the tools of AI, that
yeah.
particular person, how does that particular person approach this? What is the first step that person needs to take? It might not be his first job.
No, but it depends because I am an advertising person who creates a concept. I don't shoot that concept. Advertising agencies don't shoot the ad commercials. We go outside to outsiders.
Right.
I have never shot a single ad film in my life. I create a concept, I write a jingle, I get it approved by a client, and then I go to a professional and say, record this jingle for me. I go to a
Right.
professional and say, shoot this commercial for me. I don't shoot that commercial. So any new person who wants to get into advertising, if he wants to create concepts he can create. Whether it is going to be done by AI or natural, that's not his concern because the ad film makers will think of that, the clients will think of that.
Correct.
As far as he is concerned, he's supposed to create a concept. I am writing a concept for a product that I'm handling. I'm writing a jingle for that product. Whether when the guy goes to record that jingle, whether he is using a big studio or is he using his computer to create that tune, is he using a real voice or an AI voice, is not my concern. I want a great jingle recorded that can sell
Right.
my product. So a new person who's getting into advertising shouldn't worry about AI because he's not here to create that campaign. He's supposed to create the concept that
Hmm.
sells.
Understood. So, don't you see, sir, that in the future, the everything of the busy work, like this ad work, which has a very clear goal that it needs to sell, it needs to be communicated, communication needs to happen. Don't you think
Yeah.
everything AI can do, and then all of us, we are all become storytellers, back to become storytellers, and then use
Yes.
AI in a different way? What do you think?
Yes.
Is that the
Yes.
evolution?
That's precisely how it's going to be. Because advertising hasn't changed in the last 60 years. If anybody tells you it has, they're wrong. The vehicles have changed. The way to execute the thing has changed.
Right.
We used to earlier use computer graphics. We didn't have computer graphics studios in India. We used to go
Correct.
to Hong Kong. For every ad
Yeah.
film that we did which needed computer graphics, I would go. I mean, I would not go, but the ad film maker would go to Hong Kong. There was a outfit called Film Magic in Hong Kong, which used to create all those things. They used to go to Singapore to create those films because we couldn't do computer graphics here. Effects we couldn't do.
Hmm.
Then we started doing it far better than them. Now we do it here. The same thing will happen with AI. The advertising concept will not change. Advertising concept hasn't changed. Anybody tells you Gen Z and all that, that's rubbish. There's nothing like Gen Z. Gen Z is the same as Gen A. A Gen Z
Yeah.
girl, a Gen Z wants to look as beautiful as the girl in Gen A. The Gen A, my grandmother was using powder, my mother was using Charmis Snow, my wife was using something, my daughter is using L'Oreal, but they all want to look beautiful. Need
That
hasn't changed.
that's a perfect thought. How that's the way to think
So
actually. Perfectly
when I
put.
say new, new worked 50 years ago, new works today. Free, the word free worked 50 years ago, it works today. If Bonvita said this gives you strength, it worked 30 years ago, it will work today. If a
Correct.
soap says it will give you cleaner clothes, a detergent says it will give you cleaner clothes, it worked 40 years ago, it will work today. Nothing has changed. The way you put things, the vehicles that you use have changed. The time limits have changed. I used to make a film for 60 seconds earlier for cinema theaters because there was no television advertising. Then it
Right.
became 30 seconds. Then it became 10 seconds. Now it has, because of social media, I can make a 5-minute film, which practically makes no sense. All the 5-minute films that I've seen are useless because they try and show how beautifully people are acting it out and just bring the product at the end of it. That's not how advertising works. Your product has to be the central point of your campaign. Your product is the hero. Your hero and heroine is not the central points. Your product is the hero. That
But
means if you
then how?
remove that product,
Yes, sir. Please go on.
sorry, no,
You're
say, I'm saying if you remove that product, the ad shouldn't stand.
correct. But many people are
I
right
always,
now doing a story and then bringing in the product in a very surrogate way, not necessarily. Is that the right way to do
makes
it or no?
no, that's the wrongest way to do it.
Hmm.
I've seen many ads in Marathi where they have this beautiful, and Maharashtrians have great actors and actresses. So they have this beautiful setting of Diwali where these people are beautifully, families getting together, children are running around doing this, and there's a happy family. And at the end, somebody comes and says, "Come on, time to eat," and they get some mithai. The
Hmm.
product comes at the end, whatever the mithai is. So suppose instead of that mithai, that person brings clothes. It'll still work.
Correct.
Instead of clothes, that person brings a thing and say, "Here, I have invested in this bank for you for Diwali." It will still work.
The product
So
becomes a
what you
something
showed in the product
product
becomes easily replaceable.
replaceable. Yeah, that's not us
That
building a
means
narrative. That will
no,
be
I always give an example of an ad that I haven't created. Feviquick, where there's a fisherman sitting and he puts 5 dots on a stick and
correct.
he catches 5 fish. Now, if you remove Feviquick, that ad doesn't stand.
Correct. Absolutely. Because
Ad
everything
works because everything is about that Feviquick.
correct.
It is not
That's a
showing some great situation and people are fishing and in a big boat and this and that. And in the end, he finds a fish because maybe he's done something else. Maybe he's shown Maggie noodles in the water and the fish have come to eat that. Then it wouldn't work. It works because very quick is the integral part of that ad. And every ad should have that as an integral part. Your product is the hero.
That's a good food for thought for everyone who's randomly doing ads these days, sir. You come from the fundamentals of how the ad should work and then you build
Yes.
iconic products. That is the reason why now we will move to the topic of this particular session. We want to speak about Amul and really want to understand how did that
Okay.
entire story work.
Okay. I did not create the Amul girl.
Okay.
Amul, before my time, when Amul was being launched, the biggest selling brand in India was a butter called Polson.
Hmm.
Polson was the biggest selling butter before my time. And when Dr. Kurian decided to set up Amul, I don't know how many people know what Amul stands for. Amul is AMUL, Anand Milk Union Limited. That is the full form of Amul. So when he started this thing, there was Polson butter, number one butter in the country. And you used to get foreign butters, I believe, that time, Anchor butter from New Zealand and things like that. So they were all available easily for you. And here was a butter being launched by a farmers cooperative without having too much money. They didn't have the kind of money that big companies would have to spend. So they had to do something which was completely breakthrough and different. And Mr. Dikuna, who was handling it at that time, Mr. Sylvester Dikuna, who I worked with later on, created this thought of having a cartoon girl. That was
Hmm.
not the full campaign. There was a cartoon girl, which there was a man called Eustace Fernandez, who was an art director who created that first Amul girl. And Mr. Dicuna wrote a whole jingle, and the last two lines were, Amul is the answer to your wishes. It's utterly, butterly delicious. So those are the two last lines. So Amul campaign existed in multimedia.
Right.
They had films with real girl, with real small, the small real girl acting in that. They had press ads
No,
with
they
real
were.
models.
I didn't know they were
they
real.
had they had press ads. We had color press ads. We had films without the Amul girl with real people.
Oh, okay.
So and the hoardings were a reminder medium. So
Can
that
you
was
can
just
you that,
one that
sir?
was one of the media mix. So we had films,
Hmm.
cinema film. There was no TV at that time. So we had films for film theaters. There was no commercial television at that time. That came after 1982,
Right.
after the Asian Games and things like that. Indira Gandhi, that time it was launched. Now we had color press ads, we had black and white press ads with real people. We had 1 minute film with real little girls. Amul butters, like humorous but real.
Hmm.
And we had hoardings, a few hoardings. When I got into it, my contribution to, I think, Amul was I Indianized the girl
Hmm.
because she was a polka dotted English kind of a girl. Even the hoarding lines used to be very Englishy puns.
Hmm.
And the girl was in a polka dotted frock. And hoardings was one of the media mixes.
Right.
When we started doing the thing at a later stage, we put all our money in hoardings, which was
Hmm.
a risk because hoarding is not the primary medium for any product.
Absolutely.
Hoarding is what we call in advertising a reminder medium. That hoarding is supposed to remind you of the main campaign, which you see in a film or in a press ad. Hoarding is not the primary medium.
Correct.
We made Amul hoarding into the primary medium. All the money
Oh.
was put in the hoarding, and the credit for all of that goes to no one else but Dr. Kurian. He is the world's best client ever. He said, this is the way you want to go this way. You feel everything should be put in hoardings? It's your choice. Don't even show me what you do on the hoardings.
Hmm.
The only client in the world who said, I'll keep paying you the money for the campaign. I don't want to see what you are doing. So we could write a hoarding. I could write a hoarding sitting here. If there was something I was talking to you and something happened in the cricket match and I wrote a hoarding, I would phone up my office, tell them, do a drawing like this, get the media department to whitewash the hoarding. That time there was no flex printing. Whitewash
Right.
the hoarding, put the scaffolding, and overnight we'll print it. So by the time you realize that, Virat Kohli or whoever, Sunil Gavaskar scored a century in the morning paper, there would be Amul Butter hoarding already on that with a joke. That was possible because we had a client like Dr. Kurian who said, don't show me anything. You are the boss. Do what you want to do. So Amul Butter grew from there. And the entire credit for Amul Butter, 99.9, if not 100% credit, does not go to a person who writes it. If the creative people are penny a dozen. A
Hmm.
client like Dr. Kurian you can't get. A man who put entire faith in you, said, I'll back you up. Don't show me what you do. You are the experts. I've employed you as experts. If
But
I understood advertising, I would have.
did you not
Sorry?
come from the background where Dr. Kurian already had faith in you? Right now, there are penny a dozen advertising agencies any which way, so you don't know whom to put faith on as a client. At that time,
No, but even
advertising.
that time, no, that time also there were enough agencies. There were lots of agencies in the business.
Okay.
And Dr. Kurian had put faith in our agency, which was Dikuna Associates. We handled Amul butter. Later on, I handled Amul milk and Amul chas and Amul dahi and Amul milkshakes. That was later on,
Right.
and Nutramul. But there was another agency which handled Amul cheese. There was
Okay.
another agency which handled Amul chocolates.
So
Then there was some other agency which had.
how do you
Sorry,
centralize then the campaign? How do you centralize as a brand? How do you
within
centralize the campaign?
We didn't. Amul butter, the Amul butter, what they're now using as the Amul girl was the Amul butter girl. That's not the Amul girl.
She was only the butter girl.
She was the butter girl. There was a butter girl and a butter boy.
Okay.
Now, because that is so famous, now even for drink more campaign, they use the Amul girl because she now represents Amul. But she was not the Amul girl. She was the Amul butter girl. She still is the Amul butter girl.
Okay, okay. That's actually
But she's so because she's so popular, so the Amul uses it as a brand ambassador for everything Amul.
understood. So, if at all you had to now, at that time, you guys decided that you will put all the money in the banner. Was it like a collective decision of that being like the primary medium, like how we have social media as the primary or digital ads as the primary medium today? If you
Yeah.
is that first question is that, and the second, if you had to do it today, would what would be the medium?
Now I'll tell you what is happening is that there are for a media mix, there's so many options available to you,
Hmm,
and somehow people have this again the wrong notion that today's people don't have patience to see something longer. That's also
correct.
wrong.
Yeah, correct.
The Gen Z thing that I keep on hearing is completely wrong. You
Hmm.
know, Gen Z has enough patience to see a 3.5 hour Dhurandhar without leaving the theater.
Absolutely.
If they're getting
Even
bored after 15 seconds, why would they wait to see a 3.5 hour film?
correct.
I'll tell you the difference. I keep on saying this as a difference. When we were young, or we were not even young, we were old, there was Doordarshan, only channel. Every house had one television in their living room. So all of us as a family sat and watched Mahabharata and Ramayana and Rajani and Karamchand and everything else because that was the only TV to watch. That was the only program coming on. Then at some point of
Yeah.
time, in 1992, I think, Z TV came on the scene. So there were two
Okay.
channels to watch. There was Z and there was Doordarshan. And then you got some houses got two TVs, one for the bedroom and one for the living room. So if you want to see Z TV, you went to the bedroom. You want to see normal Doordarshan, you sat in the living room.
Correct.
Then what happened was that time TVs didn't have remote control. So if you're
But
watching a match on Doordarshan and you got bored and you want to see Z TV, you got up from your seat, went to the TV, pressed a button, changed the channel. Too much effort for that 20 second that match has got over and now there's a tea break. Will you get up from your comfortable seat, go shift that thing for 20 seconds, watch something on Z, again press it back? Too much effort. Then
yeah,
remote control came. Then 50 channels came. Then Color TV came and Sony TV came and ABP Maza and news channels came and you had a remote in your hand. So you could keep changing it. You got bored of one song, you changed it and saw something else. Then you started consuming everything on your mobile phones, which at the flick of a button you can.
sorry, your voice broke. Can you just repeat what you said before this, sir? One second, your screen's
Yeah,
tittered.
I
Yeah.
said Gen Z and Gen A have the same attention span, but Gen A did not have so many alternatives so easily
Hmm.
available. Gen Z has it. So they keep shifting things not because they don't have the patience, they have choices so easily available to them.
That's awesome. Correct. Absolutely. I agree with you.
I'm sitting, I'm watching something, I'm watching a cricket match on my mobile phone. Now somebody gets out. Now I know it'll take some 30 seconds before somebody else comes on. So why should I just wait till that guy comes on? I shift and I go to Netflix and I see something else. Or I shift, I go to Z TV. I shift, I go and see some Marathi program. In 30 seconds, I come back. That's not because I have attention span is less. That is because my choices are more. And it's so convenient for me to do this. Otherwise, why would people sit and watch? I keep on saying Dhurandhar because it's the longest movie which has come in the recent times. Why would people sit for 3.5 hours in a theater and watch a bloody film? Why won't they leave after 15 seconds?
Correct.
That means they have the patience to
I
watch
think
it.
people are telling bad stories and just justifying it by saying that they don't have attention span.
You have to tell them an interesting story, then they'll watch you.
Absolutely.
When we do a play, we tell them an interesting story, they'll wait, they'll watch up to our play. Nobody leaves. Nobody leaves. We are doing so many plays now. People wait 2 hour play. They have a 10-minute interval. They come back. All of them come back. They wait till the end. They give us a standing ovation. Tell them a good story, they'll wait and watch. People have stopped telling stories. They've stopped telling stories.
So
What your
what?
social media campaign, 90% of your social media campaigns are what I call talking heads.
Correct. It
The
is called
simplest,
talking.
the simplest thing to do. I'm sitting in front of you, put a camera on me. Now I'll say, I'll wear gym clothes and I'll say, if you want to get a good body and be healthy, drink this protein shake. It is damn good for you. Damn good. I finish that. I take off my jacket. I wear a formal suit. And I say, if you want to go and look impressive in a business meeting or a Rotary Club meeting, use Raymond suitings. That's talking heads. There's no concept in that, which is what most of these social media campaigns are doing. They're talking heads. They're cheap to make. You can make a campaign for 10,000 bucks. An ad film would cost you 30 lakhs.
Absolutely. But don't you think that's the nature of the current times?
Yeah, but you can create a concept. You can
Yes,
create
you
a
can.
concept and then sell it in 10 seconds. You can create a concept first. A simple
Correct.
concept that you want to say. I'll tell you the best ad hoarding that I'd seen in my entire life was a board I'd seen in Hong Kong, which said, seedless grapes, very sweet, sold here. The best advertising slogan I've ever seen.
As functional as it
Seedless,
can get, clear communication.
seedless grapes, very sweet, sold here. If I had to do it as an agency, I would say nature's pristine offering brought to you in its most unfiltered form.
Wow.
Nobody understands all this. Seedless, say
I,
seedless.
okay.
Sweet, say sweet. Why do you want to be creative? Advertising has to be simple.
Hmm.
It should
It's
not
too
be
much of
creative. The
esoteric.
too much of create. People feel that if I can also say seedless and sweet, yeah, then why do I need an agency? I am an agency, so I must create something that is more poetic.
Hmm.
My client is paying me for something that he can't do. Seedless grapes he can also do. I must give him something that's very poetic, very nice. Wrong. Simple, be straightforward.
As
And in
and you
that,
said
be
empathy. It should have empathy. Communication needs to create empathy.
empathy. In the first thing in advertising, you must understand is you are not creating advertising for you and your friends and people that you know. You are creating advertising for people you don't know.
Hmm.
During the lockdown, I will tell you something. During the lockdown, there was somebody who asked me a question. They said, we want to do a podcast with you, like what we are doing now, a Zoom call. And we want to ask you just one question. How will the consumer behave after lockdown is over? Just one question. And we'll do a 40-minute Zoom call. I said, okay. So we started. I said, before we start that, I want to ask you, tomorrow if there's a cricket match, how will the batsman behave? And they said, no, that's not a question. Batsman meaning which batsman? I said, you're asking me a question which is as stupid as that. Which consumer? Consumer in India, consumer in Maharashtra or Bihar or Tamil Nadu or Kerala or UP or Assam. Different consumers. When you're saying how will a consumer behave, which consumer? They said, okay, consumer in Maharashtra. I said, okay, Mumbai, Pune, Nagpur, Solapur, where? Different consumers. Or in a small village in Maharashtra. They said, no, consumer in Mumbai. I said, okay, men or women? So they said,
Absolutely.
okay, men. They said, okay, men. We were trying to sort of come closer. They said men. I said age 18 to 25, 26 to 35, 36 to 45, or 45 plus, and 60 plus. They said somebody earning 50,000 rupees a month. I said a young 24-year-old MBA student who's joined the bank and is earning 50,000 rupees, or a mill worker who's staying in Lalbagh and who's about to retire earning 50,000 rupees. Which consumer are you talking about? It's not so simple.
It's not simple. Absolutely. You can't just
And
say
that is
18
the
to 24. Yeah, absolutely.
and that is the beginning point of advertising campaign. You must know who you are talking to.
My
You
lord,
must
people
know who you are talking to.
Are you
You must
listening?
know
This
who are you talking to? What does he understand? What language should you crack a joke? Would he laugh if you crack a joke and buy a product? Should you be serious? Are you talking to a woman who's serious? Are you selling a refrigerator? Are you selling a packet of biscuits? And who are you selling it to? What is the felt need of that consumer? You can be brilliant in advertising. The consumer doesn't understand what you were talking about.
no, absolutely.
Talk to me. So this is where advertising has to be. Your beginning point is who's your consumer. And the second point, which none of my clients have ever been able to answer. I used to always tell my clients, complete this sentence in one word. You should buy my product over others because. And they would say, if it was a soap, they would say, because we are more fragrant, we are cheaper, we are. I said, no, one thing. You decide which is that one thing. You want to say cheaper, then say cheaper. You are allowed only one word. I'm not putting that word in your mouth because on that word, I'll create a campaign.
Correct.
You tell me it is more fragrant, it has a better fragrance. Fragrance. Then you're telling me fragrance is the most important thing in your soap. Or you're telling me it's cheaper. Or you're telling me it's larger in size. You see, every product has four attributes.
Correct.
I told my clients, give me one that is topmost in your mind. I'm not putting that there. You tell me. Because then I'll create a campaign only on that basis. A life boy said, Jantu Nashak soap. It had other things also. No? It was maybe cheaper. It was made by Hindustan Levers, big company. The entire thing was Tandurusti ki raksha karta hai life boy. In those days, Lux Supreme said, Filmi sitaron ka sabun. They didn't say we are cheaper, we are fragrant, we are nothing. We are soap that film stars love.
Absolutely.
One thing. Every advertising campaign should come down to who is my consumer and what is my one product plus that consumer should buy it for. If Levers that time thought that people are so enamored by film stars that if they say Madhuri Dixit or Sri Devi or Madhubala uses this soap, they will also use it. Maybe they were right. But they must have done the research to figure out that people are so crazy that whatever the film stars do, they will do. Then they were right. Right to say Filmi Sitaro ka sabun. But suppose people say, I don't give a damn about Filmi Sitar. I don't give a damn what Madhuri Dixit wears or uses. I want a soap that lathers better. Then that campaign would fail. Because I'm not interested in what film stars use. I want a soap that lathers better. I want a soap that lasts longer. So advertising is not trying to create something. It's who's your consumer and what is he looking for. We call it a felt need. Does he have a felt need for this attribute that you're saying? Can you sell me a Aspro tablet and say Aspro will also make you fair? I'm not interested in becoming fair. I'll use Aspro because I have a headache. Aspro should just cure me of my headache. If I
Even if
want to
it
be fair, I'll use.
even if the it negates the other targets, like you mentioned, like Lux was Filmi Sitaro ka Saban, which means superstars, the soap for the superstar. But it will negate somebody who doesn't care about superstars. So
Yeah,
that's
but
something
you
we
can
do.
never please. You can never please everybody.
Okay.
In advertising, one thing you must understand: you cannot convince the entire universe. You have to pick and choose. I will only talk to girls between the age of 18 and 30 who are enamored by film stars. That is my consumer. That is my target group. I'm not
Understood, sir.
talking to a 60. I'm not talking to a 60-year-old woman who doesn't give a damn who's using it.
Understood.
I have
But
to
how?
determine my consumer first,
Right. Hmm. Of course.
and then
But
find out what appeals to that consumer. That's where research comes in.
no, absolutely. But then how did brands like an Amul appeal to all the economic strata, all the age groups across India? What was different in that
It was just that people fell in love with those cartoon characters. All the people who used to write to us, even
story?
children, didn't understand what those stories were. They loved that cartoon girl. Not everybody understood. If I made a joke on a politician, the kids didn't understand what that was. They just like the idea that Amul girl is dressed in a different way and I want that sticker. I used to get I requests from different places, from different corners of the country, asking for Amul butter hoardings. And now we couldn't give them all. So what we started doing, I started that, was we started printing some of the popular hoardings on the pack. The
Hmm.
back of the pack used to have a Amul butter hoarding that was popular at that time.
There is
Then
a
people would
hoarding.
cut it and keep it. Then
Correct.
they
We
would
used to.
cut it and keep it.
Yeah, yeah. Fridge. We used to keep it
Yeah,
in
I used to put
fridge.
that on the fridge or whatever. I used to keep it on your notebooks or whatever as a
Absolutely.
cartoon thing. So it was that cartoon thing. We made consumers smile, and people, if you can make your consumer smile, he is more attracted to you. Not only
Hmm.
as a human being also. If you go to a party and you meet 15 people, next day you remember the person who made you laugh, a
Yeah,
person who
absolutely.
told you a joke, a person who sang. You don't remember the other guys who were there. You remember the guy who sang. And he
Yeah,
sang
that's
so
true.
well, yeah. Yesterday, that guy told us a fantastic story. We were all laughing so much, we doubled up and we laughed. You only remember that guy who sang. You remember the guy who told you a story that made you laugh. You forget all the other 20 people who were there. Why? Amul Butter worked on that basis, that if I can make you feel good and smile, you'll be attracted to me.
Yeah,
It
that's
only
that.
sold on that basis.
Absolutely. But then it still was appealing to the intellectual mass also with the political commentary,
It
with
does.
the.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think
Though
that
that segment saw it as comment on whatever social happenings, whether
then that's
political
what
or social.
that's what made the brand's longevity more, right? Like it
Yeah,
still traveled
yeah.
with the story. If we would
It
have
became
just had,
topical.
if it just had the little girl, do you think it would have
Yeah.
traveled this? It would have traveled, but it
No,
wouldn't become a big narrative,
not
right? So any brand.
not so much.
So do you think any brand should have these layers of appealing to the intellectual, appealing to the mid-level mass, or appealing to the critical mass? What do
No,
you think?
no. You'll have to pick and choose.
Hmm.
You'll have to say, I will only appeal to this segment in this age group. I can't appeal to everybody.
And
I
if
can't
it
appeal to
travels,
an intellectual audience. If
if
it
it
travels, it's good for you, but it doesn't work. I mean, you can't plan it like that. It's like people saying, let's make a video and make it viral. You don't make it viral. It becomes viral if people like it. But I hear a lot of that people saying, एक viral बनाएंगे. अरे viral क्या बनाओगे तुम? तुम कुछ एक वीडियो बनाओ. If people
uh,
like it, it will go viral. You don't make a viral.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Similarly, you don't make a campaign that will appeal to everybody. You make a campaign keeping in mind that it will appeal to this segment. If it appeals to somebody else, damn good.
Hmm.
But you don't plan it like that. And what we could do for Amul butter, we couldn't do for other Amul products.
Hmm.
When I launched Amul milk, I couldn't do some funny jokes and on hoarding. I had to sell a milk. I had to make sure that it was Tetra Pak milk and it lasts longer and it was creamier and all of that I had to do. When we launched Nutramul, we had to fight against Bonvita and Boost and Maltova. So we had to talk about how we are a better, cheaper but similar tasting health drink. We had to be serious. What we could do for Amul butter, we couldn't do for other Amul products because we were fighting competition. Amul chocolates, which I didn't handle, were fighting Cadbury's. And some of these brands are synonymous with the category. People don't say chocolate, they say Cadbury leke aana.
Ah, yeah, absolutely. Distillery also the same thing, right?
People don't say एक इसका दो कॉपी बना इसका एक जेरोक्स बना के लाना.
Ah, Xerox.
That
Yeah,
copy may be made on Canon machine,
correct.
but you don't think of it as Canon. You don't think of it as a copy. You say Xerox. इसका चार Xerox बना. Xerox is a brand name. It's synonymous with the category. So when you fight those brand names, it's very difficult. It's very difficult. Amul chocolates, which I didn't handle, are far superior to Cadbury chocolates.
Hmm.
The Cadbury chocolates that you get in London are fantastic. The Cadbury chocolates you get in India are not as good. But to convert people from saying a Cadbury leke aana to a Amul leke aana takes a lot of efforts and it still may not work. With people's
Understood.
mind, it's fixed. Xerox is fixed in my mind. I
Yeah,
don't think of a copy, I think of a Xerox.
the yellow banner with black fonts is Xerox,
Yeah,
basically.
yeah.
But now, if you have to handle, or now is the time, if at all you wanted to launch an Amul in this day and age, What is the marketing mix, and what are the tools you think you would use?
I wouldn't know right now because I don't know who the primary consumers are now, because everybody is using it now. So I don't
Correct.
know. So I think what they're doing is they're continuing with whatever they're doing as making it topical ads and things. But
And it still works.
at some point, thankfully nobody has come up with a thing like this. If somebody comes up with a similar thing and does it better, then Amul has to worry.
Hmm.
Nobody is
Okay.
doing. They're all trying to. Britannia is saying we are a creamy butter. Somebody else is saying we are a creamy butter. It goes great on your toast. They are doing product advertising. So the only one that is doing this cute advertising is Amul right now.
So
Nobody
do
has
you think
tried it.
in the AI age, what has happened that you can initially we used to script and then we used to storyboard it, then go on the shoot floor and then we edit, and the entire process was laborious and it was a longer process. With AI, the
Yeah,
outcome like you mentioned, like I want a Maharashtrian girl, dressed in a sari, and it just
it
comes
just made
out.
it quicker. It's still the
It's
thought process is still the same. It has to be the same. I have to
correct,
go
but
through the same stages of thought process, but the
same same.
ultimate
Correct,
result is quicker.
correct. And
I
if
was
that
sitting with the ex. I was sitting with the ex Director General of Doordarshan, Mr. Mukesh Sharma.
Hmm,
We are in a committee. We are doing something together, and
right,
somebody who was supposed to come got late coming into that meeting. So Mukesh Sharma said he is working for MIT in Pune, and he's doing a lot of this AI stuff, and he's doing all kinds of stuff. So while sitting, he said, "I'll show you something that I can do." And he, on some app, gave a prompt saying, write a song on Bharat Dabolkar, who is known for his topical Amul hoardings and who is doing plays like Bottoms Up, which are satires on local events. That's all. In 2 minutes, he got a complete song where
correct,
they quoted some of the hoardings that I had done. And he does things on cricket and he does things on, which he hadn't said.
correct.
Then he said, now put this whole song to music. Make a song with trumpets and a male voice. And in 2 minutes, they gave me a whole song on Bharat Dabolkar with trumpets and music talking about my topical hoardings. Sitting in that chair, in 5 minutes, he did that.
Of
It's
course, I
scary.
the app you're talking
That's
about
when
is
that's when I decided that I must learn AI.
absolutely, sir. Absolutely. The following that I have is based on teaching people in AI only. And the app I
Yeah,
think you're thinking about is suno.com, which is crazy these days. It's like, it's beautiful. And it also gives you open
yeah,
files. So if you're a music producer, you can actually handle it. So it's crazy. It's awesome. So
fantastic,
I
awesome.
wanted to understand from you, sir. Now, like the question where I was trying to get at is there are many people who are now getting into storytelling because the gates have opened. AI is giving everybody the access to tell a story or create characters or do whatever. And there are these brands who want to rebrand themselves. Do you see the agencies now not being singular standalone entities and individuals becoming agency? Like, for example, somebody creates a cute character. Like when I was
Yeah,
working in the network Pogo, we had Chota Bheem merged with multiple brands. Do you see a
yeah,
lot of brands and the consumers now joining hands in telling a story?
yeah. What happens now is, see, earlier we were a full service agency. We handled everything. We handled research, we handled media, we handled creative, media planning, media buying, everything we did. Then at
Correct.
some point, the whole media function got hived off. Then there were specialized media agencies which did the planning and selling and buying. Then we became only a creative thing. Then came a time now I'm told that even big agencies or big clients, rather than going to an agency, they would go to that agency for everything else, but go to a small creative hot shop.
Hmm.
You can create a great campaign idea for them. So we
Right.
pay them off. The main agency can still handle all that. They can still do all the other stuff that is required, but the whole idea comes from some young hot shop, which is a creative hot shop. So
Yeah,
things are
you're going.
changing very fast.
Hmm. Yeah,
You're not sticking
absolutely.
to the I was Publicis. I was handling I was the managing director of Publicis, which is a
Okay.
part of the second largest agency in the world.
Absolutely.
So we handle L'Oreal and we handle Nestle and all that. Now I'm suppose now I don't know how it is working now, but suppose tomorrow Nestle says that I can get a better idea from this person who has a small shop, but he has great ideas from a Nestle Kit Kat, which Publicis can't have. Then they'll Get that idea from that, pay that guy off. Publicity will still handle the rest of it. But the main idea would come from a single person or a small outfit. Those are the
Understood.
changes that
Yeah.
are happening.
So you work as a sub agency for the bigger agency, and in the end,
Then you
this.
then you'll end up as a freelancer who's got creative ideas. And so the agency stays the same because that's the international diktat that we
Correct.
handle. Publicis handles Nestle in 48 countries, or we handle L'Oreal in 50 countries. So that stays. But your work can be done by an outside guy who has some great ideas for that. Those are the changes that are happening.
But with AI, sir, right now the agencies slowly are shutting shop. Initially, there used to be 1 CR, 10 CR ads. Now they'll come to lakhs. Now they'll come to thousands because of AI. Of course, how we as an agency are countering it by saying that we are charging for the idea, not for the tool at all. All right. This is
Yeah,
the idea
yeah.
first. Is that the right approach which the agency would take sooner or later, where the human idea and the that becomes the premium? Or what will
They
happen?
should, but a lot of clients don't buy that thought.
Hmm.
They are not willing to pay for that idea as a expensive thing. I remember there was an old story when I was in advertising of a guy called Tarsen Singh, I think his name was.
Hmm.
He had done that Coke campaign of the elephants in the sea.
Hmm.
That's what I'd heard years ago.
Right.
And then I believe he charged whatever uh, $1 million. I'm just giving you off the cuff figure. And then people came and said, "Why are you charging $1 million? We could get this done for $30,000." And he said, "I am charging you $30,000 for the execution. I'm charging you the balance money for the experience that I'm putting behind this.
Yeah,
My
absolutely.
30 years of experience in creating something that sells. I'm charging you for that." So that as concept, I don't know how many people would buy today. That you pay good money for a great idea.
Hmm.
Now everybody's
Understood.
saying that no, I can get this done for $10,000. Yeah, I know this young person who's doing this thing and they can do this. They can do a reel for me for 25,000 rupees. What's the big deal? Yeah? Today's reels are marketing briefs on camera.
Hmm. Yeah.
Clients are happy. They say, please sell this product like this. I want to say this, this, this. So you have a model who says this, this, this. So it's a
Hmm.
marketing brief. It hasn't taken a leap into creativity. That is what is
Hmm.
going wrong with a lot of social media advertising is that although 60% of clients' money is now being spent on social media, or even the big companies,
In fact, more
whatever
than that.
maybe 1.73 lakh crores or something is the advertising budget for this year in India alone, I think, of which I think more than 65% is being spent on social media, on digital media, let's say.
But you
But
don't see that
I,
alarming, right? You see that as a part of evolution, right? Or is
yeah,
there
yeah,
some?
yeah, 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 of course. No, no, no. I think that's damn good. It's damn good.
But then
It has the same thing.
you're mentioning those talking heads are not necessarily selling stuff. That's just easy way
No,
of marketing something.
yeah.
So do you
You
think that
get you
adding a
you get some
concept level?
youngster with the camera. You get a youngster with the camera and say, "I want to say this, this, this." So you get a model who will say this, this, this. So the guy gets the camera, gets some lights, and the model says this, this, this. Client is happy. The model is saying exactly what he wants to say. Is that selling? Is that creating empathy? Nobody
Hmm.
looks at that because it's cheap.
Hmm.
Earlier times, a client that if I handle Glaxo Laboratories or Tata TV spent, let's say, 25 lakhs or 15 lakhs to create an ad film. That ad film had to run for a whole year. It had to be
Hmm.
damn good. We couldn't
Yeah.
fail. Today, if I make a thing for 15,000 bucks, doesn't work, I'll do something else tomorrow. Next month, I'll change that thing. 15,000 bucks is not too much money.
No, absolutely.
So that is the wrong way of looking at things. Every ad film must work, whether you are spending 15 lakhs or 15,000. The concept must work. And the beginning point of everything is your, as I said, consumer, the appeal to the consumer, and how are you going to execute that? They're the only three things in advertising that has to be considered, nothing else.
Hmm. Understood. That's a great master class. Brings me to now the biggest brand in the world, which is now making head waves, the brand India. I want to understand from you, sir, how do you see India faring in the global stage? Do you think the narrative of India is changing? Do you think the stereotypes are changing? Or do you think we as citizens not rely too much on politicians, but push back into understanding our own civilization so that we understand that this is not the Indian, this is not the current scenario of what India should be. Do you think
Well,
granted?
there are two things in this. I think the older generation hasn't yet got over the colonial hangover. We
Yeah,
still feel that somebody who can speak English well is intelligent, and somebody who can't speak English well but speaks Marathi or Tamil or Telugu is not so bright.
yeah,
So we still
absolutely.
have that hangover. The way we dress is still the way we feel that somebody in a jacket is more sophisticated than somebody in a kurta and a dhoti. We've given up everything that we had as our cultural thing because that's what the British did, and very successfully. They made us feel ashamed of our culture. They made us feel ashamed of our language. They made us feel ashamed of our dressing style. They made us feel ashamed of everything, and that hasn't changed much. That colonial mindset continues. On the other hand, what is going wrong with the younger, and we are the youngest nation, is that today's youngsters are depending for the information on WhatsApp forwards and Facebook and Insta forwards. They're not going beyond that. They're not learning. They're not reading books. They're not showing the interest in learning things. I see some of these interviews. I remember some of these guys used to take roadside interviews of college students and things. Simple questions. What is 15th of August? What is 26th of January? What's the difference in that? Why are we celebrating Independence Day? What happened on that day? Who's the Prime Minister? Who's our Finance Minister? Nobody had the answers. Nobody had the answers. So the youngsters today, we used to say American youngsters are dumb, and they are. Our youngsters are, they have to get out of this thing of the easy thing of WhatsApp and Facebook and Instagram. If they want to be successful communicators, they have to keep their eyes and ears open, walk around, listen to people, read books, see what has been done in the world. And it's so much easier now. Our times, if I had to do some research, I had to go to a library and find reference books. Today, I press a button on Google and ask a question. I don't even press a button. I say, okay, Google, tell me this, and that tells me in details what I need to know. So the access to knowledge is tremendous. I don't think today's youngsters are using it as much as they should. And they're far better than us, today's youngsters. Maybe they're more creative. They have more access to the world events and what's happening in the world. We didn't have that access.
Ideas are
If I had to
global.
see what is if I had to see what is happening in American advertising, I had to go to America for a conference.
Correct.
I didn't have access to American advertising in India. I remember going to a global ad age conference in Chicago and said, "My God, these are American ads are fantastic. Coke ads and Pepsi had just launched the Diet Pepsi. I still remember the campaign. I couldn't see that in India. So I didn't know what was happening in the world. Now I can. And I must use that knowledge. I must use the knowledge of what is happening in the world. I must use the knowledge of what is happening around me. See, I used to always say that, it's easy being an advertising guy in England or in New York because I am the creative director who travels in the same underground as my consumer. So I can hear what they are saying.
Correct.
I
So
can
we
hear
are
what
not.
they are talking about.
Yeah, but
Today I sit in an air conditioned car and go to office. My consumer takes a train in Dombivli and comes to Churchgate. I don't know what that consumer thinks like. I need to do a market research to understand that. Because I'm not in touch with that consumer. I'm not traveling with that person. They're not my friends anymore. They're not even my co-passengers anymore. I'm in an air-conditioned car going to my office, and I'm even in the car. I'm not looking out. I'm on my computer. I'm on my phone. I'm sending messages. I'm doing WhatsApp chats. I'm not even looking out to see what is happening. I'm not looking at a hoarding, and there's some sexy girl, some actress coming out with some new film. Because I'm busy on my phone. I'm not even looking out. What am I absorbing? Nothing. We're getting so involved in our little world, even the
correct.
youngsters. that we are not opening ourselves, we're not reading books, we're not reading things, we're not traveling and meeting people. We're trying to understand what happens. And we must. If you want to be good communication people, that is a must. Understanding who you are talking to. I keep on coming back to that. Who is your consumer?
We
Doesn't
should
work
be very
otherwise.
cognizant of that. Understood. So we should know our consumer. And right now, we came from a point where you are saying that people should read and people should not focus too much on WhatsApp and Instagram for their information. But right now, if the attention is towards the social media, as media professionals, I call myself a media professional, you're a pioneer, a legend in the media professional. Don't you think there is a certain pushback or putting in some content which people would want to consume in the platforms they have attention towards?
Yeah,
People,
of
when I
course.
say,
Of course. I'll
so
ask
what
you a
advice?
question. How many people get up in the middle of the night by putting an alarm to see an American presidential primary? I do. I'm
Hmm,
not concerned. I'm not an American voter. But when they are primary, I'm not even talking the final debate between the two presidential candidates. I listen to the Republican Party's primaries. I listen to the Democratic Party's primaries. I'm not concerned with them. I'm not a voter. I just want to understand what they're saying. And when you're saying social media, every day today on YouTube, I go and find out what CNN is saying, what Fox News is saying, what somebody else is saying, what Arnab Goswami is saying. I'm trying to find out what is happening in 5 different ways about the Iran war. So I'm not just sticking to my newspapers or whatever. I'm learning all this.
hmm,
So should everybody else. So I'm more aware of what is happening on both sides. If
correct.
I see Fox television, I know America is doing great. My God, they're winning the war. If I see CNN, I think America is doing badly. They're going to lose the war. Trump is changing his goalpost every minute. If I see Arnab Goswami, I hear the same thing. If I hear Rajdeep Sardesai, he'll say something completely different. But I'm watching all of that. Every time I get time, if I'm driving someplace or being driven someplace, I'm sitting and watching this. I'm not
Which
just
makes,
watching what Amitabh, but I'm not just watching how many people gather outside Amitabh Bachchan's house to take his darshan on a Sunday evening.
yeah, yeah, no doubt, Boomla and all is just random content. What I'm trying to ask is, which leads to what exact outcome?
I think it opens my eyes to what is happening in the world.
Which makes you a
It
better
opens
marketer,
and
better creative person?
yeah, and it opened my eyes to looking at different points of views on the same subject.
Hmm.
It makes me believe that there are two ways of looking at everything. So when I look at all that, I form my own opinion on different bases. I said I am a supporter of Israel. Then I come and say, but why are they doing this? How is America concerned if Iran is the oppressive Islamic thing? And some women don't want to wear a hijab. Who is America to do? America is not some conscience keeper of the world.
Correct, absolutely.
In India, there are enough people who want to wear hijab. They're fighting to wear hijab.
Correct.
So who are America to decide that those women, poor girls, they're forced to wear hijab. They want to wear miniskirts, and they are. Who are we to decide? That's an internal problem of Iran. We can't decide for the world. We can't. We have to look at, which is why looking at social media in an independent way helps.
Hmm.
You have to see both sides. You have to hear American Secretary of Defense saying that when we killed 125 schoolgirls in Iran, that was a mistake, but we didn't kill it. Israel killed it. Then somebody says, but your Tomahawk missile killed it. Israel doesn't have Tomahawk missile. But I'm listening to all of this. I don't know what the truth is, but at least I'm aware of what's happening in the world.
But don't you think
Keeping
these
your eyes and,
narratives are peddled across the globe? Like, for example,
of course,
taking so these something which we should consciously speak about. Like, I always give an example of South Korea. South Korea has basically exported its soft power, which means
yeah,
it's K-pop, it's K-dramas, it's kimchi burgers, it's
yeah, yeah,
with everything.
everything, everything, yeah, yeah,
And India
yeah,
has such a huge culture. Why are we wearing baggy pants and jackets in Mumbai with sweating our asses off, but we are still wearing it? Why
yeah.
can't? So are you saying that if I'm more aware of these things, I will be not susceptible to these propagandas and narratives which are peddled to me as a young person?
We are as even as a world. including India, but even the world, we are getting caught up in issues that should not be important to us. We're getting
Correct.
caught up in Hindu. We're getting caught up in Islam. We shouldn't get caught up in all this. I read the Quran. Yeah, I have Quran on. I've learned Bhagavad Gita in my school. We had to write an exam on Bhagavad Gita every year. I've done all 18 adhyaya of Bhagavad Gita. I have Quran on my phone. I read the Quran. If I take Muhammad's name, I say Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, which most Muslims don't say.
Correct.
I use words like Inshallah. Hey, let's meet up. Shall we meet next week? I say next week most probably we'll meet Inshallah. I have nothing against Muslims. I believe strongly what George Bernard Shaw said when after the World War II, when Britain was being hammered and destroyed, and somebody asked him, "Do you hate Germans?" And George Bernard Shaw said, "I don't hate in plurals."
Oh, that's actually a very profound statement, sir. I
Yeah,
actually
George Bernard Shaw said that.
yeah.
I don't hate Muslims. I may hate one Muslim,
Hmm.
but I'm that way. I may hate one Hindu also, or one Christian also. I don't think that the whole Muslim community is to be hated, or somebody else Hindu community has to be hated.
But
Everybody
as
has
a
those fringe elements in their mind.
narrative peddling happens in this way only, right? Where a
Yeah,
social group
yeah, yeah,
is influenced.
absolutely.
So that one group becomes that one independent, right? That's the reason.
Yeah.
That's the problem, right? Don't you think?
Our problem is the narratives that are being peddled across. Even these wars are not wars with weapons, it's wars of narratives.
Hmm.
Everybody is peddling a narrative. In India, we are peddling one narrative. In Maharashtra, we are peddling 5 different narratives. We suddenly come up with Marathi Manus. We are not thinking as a nation then.
Hmm.
We are not thinking as a nation. We're thinking as
So
Maharashtrians.
what would
We're thinking
that be?
that's wrong.
No,
That's
but as a
that's the world.
that's what I'm saying. That then what should be the right thought process? I feel that having creative people having this conversation makes sense because we spend a lot of time thinking, and this particular is not an advertiser's job. This particular is a filmmaker's job, or is it a
Yes.
conscious citizen's job? Whose job is this to give the right thought
See,
process?
a citizen, conscious citizen has to be first educated in terms of not education as in degree education, but aware. How many people take interest beyond their normal lives?
Hmm.
How many people are interested in knowing what is happening in the world or what is happening in India elsewhere? I had an argument that day with a Maharashtrian writer, a lady writer, very respected name,
Hmm.
and she talked about how Marathi is. We have a thing, Amrutate Paida Jinki, we say Marathi. It's the best language that there is. And I said, yeah, I agree with that. I'm from a Marathi medium school. How much of Tamil literature have you read? How much of Bengali literature have you read? On what basis? You can say Marathi is a damn good language. I agree with that. But best means comparative.
Correct.
Best is comparative. I said, comparative, you must know what literature does Malayalam have? What
Correct.
literature does Bengali have? How can you say Marathi is the best? Marathi may be damn good, but so is Tamil, so is
Correct.
Telugu, so is Malayalam, so is Bengali. So we can't say we are best, we can say we are damn good. But those are the kinds of narratives that get politically also forwarded, which is wrong. And we are more and more, as a person, I would be scared to do something which would offend somebody. I'm
Hmm.
not as open to writing something which earlier I could have written maybe 20 years ago. Now I'm a bit more conscious. If I write this, will this offend somebody? Will this be seen as a sexist remark? Will this be seen as a against Muslims or against Christian or against Hindus remark? I'm very conscious of that, which restricts my creativity because I'm constantly worried. Will my writing offend somebody?
But don't you think that's our job to then push back? And I mean,
You
the
can't.
idea.
You can't. What will you push back against? Democracy is the biggest myth in the world. There's nothing like democracy. What is
I,
democracy?
I agree, honestly.
I vote in every election. Whether it's municipal election, whether it's graduates constituency election, whether it is Lok Sabha, whether it is Vidhan Sabha, I vote for everything. And I have a unmatched record. Everyone that I vote for loses. My candidate has never won an election,
No,
but
no,
I vote
absolutely.
diligently every time I vote because I believe my vote is important. But what does it achieve? I have a complaint to make that there are too many roads being dug up. I think that Mumbai is being planned in the most stupid way. The
I
buildings
agree.
coming up all over where there are no roads for the car. So what can I do? What will I do? I'm in a democracy, so what will I do? Can I go and fight? Can I collect 10 people and go and fight? So will that change? No. So
Then
what
it
is
doesn't work.
democracy then?
Then it is not democracy.
It's the
It
same
just
thing. Whether I'm in a dictatorship or a democracy, it's the same thing. No? I have no voice. I voted for a government. I have complaints to make that stop this indiscriminate development of Mumbai with 40 and 50-story buildings coming up on narrow streets. Stop it. Who will I say this to? I have
hmm.
no voice. Then what is democracy if I have no voice? Would I go and file a PIL in a court of law? That will cost me money. I'll have to hire a good lawyer who will go and fight, and I don't know what the outcome of that would be. Would the buildings will they be stopped into being constructed?
Don't you think that
No,
people, the user generated content of social media is actually the sort of a revolt against when
it
to
is.
speak?
It is. Yes, it is. And that we shouldn't lose. We shouldn't lose that. We can't get so apathetic and so lethargic that, oh, come on, nothing changes. So why should we do it? I keep writing on a daily basis my views on everything.
Hmm.
When I'm writing about the Congress government, the Modi government, and I believe that I don't support anybody completely. I support issues. If I feel BJP is doing something wrong, I'll say that. I'm not a BJP guy. If I feel MNS is doing something right or wrong, I'll support Raj Thackeray. If I think he's doing something wrong, I'll not support him. They're all my friends, but that does not mean I'll support them if they do something wrong. That I don't agree. I mean, they may be right, but I may not think so. I'm an individual. I'll support Congress if they say something that I believe in. But
Understood.
and I believe that my voice should count. I may not have 1 million followers. I may have 10,000 followers, but let them hear my views. I have a right. That's where social media is very important. I want
Absolutely.
them
And
to hear my views.
have your voice because you wake up in the night and you go through those debates of Republicans and Democrats.
Yes,
You
I go
yourself
through all of that.
you have developed that particular voice and then you voice it out. That's what the
I,
entire
in Maharashtra, I see every leader's speech.
Hmm.
I get up and see Sanjay Raut, who's a friend of mine. I see his speeches. I see somebody else. I see Devendra Fadnavis. If he's talking, I hear his speeches. I hear there are people like Bhau Torsekar and Sushil Kulkarni who are commentators of Maharashtrian politics. I subscribe to their channels.
Even
I keep
Anil
watching
Thatte
it.
already
Anil
give
Satya. I
comment.
keep on watching Anil Satya. That Gagan Bhedi I watch. I watch Bhau
Hmm.
Torsekar. I watch Sushil Kulkarni. I watch News Danka. I watch all of these because I want to know what's happening in Indian Maharashtrian politics.
And they themselves on social media study that much to have that particular opinion, right?
When when
It's
when when Bhau Torsekar talks of something, he talks with tremendous experience
correct.
of
Yes,
40 years of
absolutely.
journalism.
Absolutely.
So what he says makes sense. So I watch him. I also watch Sanjay Raut. He may be foaming at his mouth and criticizing things, but I still watch him. I want to see what his point of view is.
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah. For people who
And I
are
think that
outside,
is what and that is what we need to do. That is where we need to. The social media gives us that opportunity to look at all these things independently. I don't have to go for a rally to hear them. It's available to me on my phone now,
hmm.
and I must use that.
So, as see the entire sir, conversation about the narrative room was understanding from these brands, understanding from legends like yourself, how to build your own narrative so that you can have a stronger opinion, which in turn leads to the development of the nation or whatever geography you belong to. So, I want to understand this is the rule book, right? You have to educate yourself not with the chewed content, like chewing the chewed is not something which you should do. You should have
No,
your own,
no,
you should read,
yes,
not just have
yes,
AI dependent everything on AI and Google.
no,
Just push back, right? That's the whole idea, and then you
yes,
can have talking head because Bhaut Sekar, like you mentioned, for
yeah,
people out in India, Bhaut Sekar is a great political and he's actually a
analyst, yeah, yeah,
journalist
journalist,
now.
yeah,
But
yeah,
he's a talking head only. But then he comes with like
yeah,
He doesn't need any visuals.
Amazing, sir.
Thanks.
No, no, he just sits on the table and talks,
Correct.
and
That is,
he's riveting. He's fantastic. I watch him. I watch Major Gaurav Arya,
yeah, absolutely. He also breaks things
who
down
keeps
really
on. He breaks it down. He has the thing at the back, and he uses electronic stuff, and he shows encircles things, and it's interesting. So you must take interest in all of this. You can't form your opinion and stick to that.
you have to keep on evolving constantly and not go with
And
the
and if you want to be in a communication business, this is very important.
hmm.
You can't put your head down and form an opinion and stick to that.
Similar to what you mentioned that some of your colleagues were not willing to adopt to the digital camera format. They like the film
They
one.
all you can you ask me to show you an old person, and I'll show you an old person who refuses to adopt the new technology. जैसे AI भी ऐसा फालतू है, कुछ नहीं होता उसमें. AI में कुछ you can do a thing, you can do a, but उसमें कुछ expression नहीं आता. अरे क्यों नहीं आता expression? Have you tried it? Have you learned it? No. It's easy to denounce something and say नहीं होगा उसमें because they are not good at it. They're
Understood.
scared.
So it's may
And
it in this sir
youngsters
everything
shouldn't get scared. Youngsters should they have a whole life ahead of them. They should learn all
absolutely.
of this.
But then you can't be brain rotting yourself with so much content. So
No,
you think that
no.
consuming the right content and also creating it and not just keeping it inside is the way to do it in this day and age.
But how do I know what is the right content? I was once talking to this girl. What's her name? She used to be on Mirror today. Uh, Faye D'Souza.
Yeah,
We were sharing a platform someplace, and she said, Bharat, when you do this, all the news channels and things, they'll always give you rubbish. You stop watching them. I said, but I watch your channel. So somebody else will say, don't watch Fayed D'Souza. How do I decide what I should watch?
correct.
You are saying don't watch some idiot channels, don't watch Arnab Goswami, whose channel is paid by the government. Okay, I won't watch him. I don't know who's paying for your channel. Arnab Goswami will say, don't watch Fayed D'Souza because she is one mouthpiece of some political party. I, as a common man, don't know. I watch everybody.
Correct. So
How can I
how
decide what I should watch?
how do you decide?
I don't decide. I watch everything.
But then there needs to be
But I don't have
certain
to. I don't. But I don't have to decide what am I. My decision doesn't count. I have my viewpoints on Iraq and Iran war, which keeps on changing on every 2 days basis.
yeah.
I supported Israel because I think Israel is fighting a battle for the very existence. But then I feel
Okay.
that Iran was not going to attack Iran. Missiles can't reach America. So
Hmm.
Iran is no threat to America. And what do you mean nuclear? Everybody has nuclear. North Korea has nuclear, I think. Pakistan has nuclear. Israel has nuclear. India has nuclear. None of them are going to use it. If Iran had it, they are not going to start using nuclear missiles. Then they'll get Israel will finish them also. They also have nuclear missiles.
Hmm.
So all these are narratives. I listen to everybody. I have no voice, but for me, it's knowledge.
But
And
then
I think no knowledge gives waste.
sir, you come from a point when you have instinct as something which is so intangible, but still there, the gut feeling which people speak about. In the AI
Yeah,
world where everything is based on data, do you think people should focus on the instinct and gut and to develop that, not to marinate in content? Is that the
yeah,
right way?
yeah. Don't use AI as an easy way out.
Hmm.
Use AI to enhance your thoughts.
Hmm.
Use AI to give you information, make things easier for you. Don't replace your brain with AI. I don't have to think. I can just give a command to AI and it'll. Don't do what we did as a fun. What Mukesh Sharma ji and I did as a fun thing. Don't do that. You want to write a song on Bharat Dabolkar? Sit there and write that song.
Hmm.
Go on the net and find out about Bharat Dabolkar and write. Don't give it to AI. The AI will do it, of course, but then what is your contribution to this whole thing? So AI, use AI, like I'm saying, use celebrities to enhance your creative, not to replace your creative.
So, do you
That's
think
the
you would?
best.
Oh, sorry, please go ahead. Sorry.
No, that's the best way to use AI to make it better, to give you more information. But don't
And
let AI not replace your brain.
hmm. Hmm. So the
This
way
guy
you
told me that last year, I believe in America, some chap tried to stop AI, close down AI. And AI that, I don't know if it is true. And he said the AI refused to close down.
Oh yeah, yeah, of course. And the AI also blackmailed the person with some extramarital affair. That is also
Something
a
like
story.
that. I don't know if these are true stories. And he said that then he decided to pull the plug. So AI had preserved the energy power. So even then it didn't close down. I don't know if this is true, but all these things will happen in the future.
Absolutely. I mean, if the AI is given in one command that you have to stay alive at any cost and you have to keep the energy
Yeah,
working on for
yeah,
you to be always on the network, if the all the trees and the waters and the stones and the soil and everything gets over, if the AI wants to survive, the only thing which will
yeah,
start recycling is humans. It will not think too
yeah.
much. It will
I'll tell
not
you,
think.
I when I was learning AI. They asked me to write a story, a visual story. So I wrote the story of a big game hunter in the Congo jungle fighting against things, and there are gorillas there, and it create visual, I mean videos. I was writing all that. Then they said make it more interesting. So I said okay. Then what happens is that hunter goes into the river, and the crocodile comes to eat him, and the gorilla saves him. So he's thankful to the gorilla. Then something else happens, and he jumps into the river, and the crocodile eats him. AI that time said we will not show violence. We will not show crocodile eating that man. It stopped short of that.
Hmm.
Whatever that program was, when I said the end of my thing is that hunter jumps into the river and the crocodile eats him. It went into jumping into the river, but then it said we will not allow the crocodile to eat that man. So AI didn't show me that. That was some time ago, last year maybe. Maybe today AI will.
So there are some AIs which are now letting the guards off because those are open source models also which people can locally run on your computer, which do not have those
Okay.
standard operating procedures. So that's a
But
quite possible.
but earlier there were things like that, right?
Yeah, so there were things like that. There is a porn industry which is rising like crazy because of AI. In fact, ChatGPT, like OpenAI's ChatGPT, where Sam Altman, the founder, who specifically mentioned that for people who are in the adult space, AI will now start moving more towards the uh, erotic content. Imagine people will
Yeah.
just be sitting and having or making their own erotic novels, and that's something which I feel that to reach a certain critical mass, these technology companies are playing some certain kind of a game which we might all get stuck
Oh,
into. They have peddled
oh,
a random narrative saying that we all need to adopt to AI, but there is a nice. I always quote Mr. Professor Neil Postman. He was in 1980s and he wrote books called as Technopoly, and he used to go hard on
okay.
Gates. What he used to say that Bill Gates is one of those winners, which he basically divides the world into two parts: winners and losers. It's the job of the winners to make the losers feel that they have also won. So Bill Gates have convinced everyone
Oh,
American education system that high speed internet is required because that is the way for the education to thrive.
yeah,
But Neil says that I
yeah,
became a doctorate and a professor without any internet. So sometimes technology people, he calls it technopoly. Technology people just pedal out technology and then they just throw it out there. We, as people who do not understand the technology, adopt to it, make new stuff to it, and we are studied heavily by these companies to make their products better. I think India is needs to wake up to these things better. And
yeah,
what are your thoughts based on your experience? You think bigger corporations generally do that because advertising is one part of it. We want to sell the product. Don't you think that bigger corporations come from this thread of a narrative to a smaller
yeah,
distant ads? Do you
yeah,
experience?
yeah,
Do you experience something like that?
yeah. But that's something that's going to keep on growing because profit is the only motive that they have. You believe you exist to create profit, so your social commitments and things don't really count. When profit becomes your motive, whatever gives you more profit is something that they adopt. And bigger the companies, and the bigger the companies, they lie more. I've always said this without any hesitation that in my experience, Indian companies did not lie as much as the multinationals did.
Hmm. Okay.
In
Can you give?
advertising, I'm only talking from advertising point of view. Hindustan Lever would lie and say anything that they wanted. They would create some formulas which don't make any sense and try and sell it to you. Amul wouldn't do that. Dr. Kurian wouldn't do that. Vico, I
So
handled
how
Vico. Vico
conscience?
wouldn't do that. But these multinationals would lie to their teeth, create things which they, as I said, I launched Tata Namak, Tata Salt.
Hmm,
There was a salt called Annapurna salt, which Hindustan Levers bought over. And their campaign was that their child used to get better marks in school because the mother was using Annapurna salt.
right.
Makes no sense. But when you have the media might, when you're selling this thought time and time again, you would convince some housewife, some mother, I must use Annapurna salt so my child gets better. Salt has nothing to do with his brain power.
Wow.
This much salt uh, in your food is not going to make your child intelligent. But if you keep on peddling that narrative, at some point the consumer would believe because you have the media might. You keep on seeing that ad 20 times in a day. At some point you'll get convinced, which is what these companies do,
Sir, you
which
have
is the
no idea.
danger.
I'm sure you have an idea, but AI companies are going crazy with their advertising and giving us free tools, which really feels like a big, I call it tech colonization kind of an aspect, because we are
Yeah,
not any fundamental AI model. We are consumers.
no,
We consume it really well.
yeah,
So
yeah,
how exactly? Of course, we are not technical people, or we are not having technical conversations here. But to point it
yeah.
out, speaking about it more, and being very conscientious about it, how do you suggest the current generation and people, newer people like myself, handle this kind of a thing?
But this is what you need to do. See, I am a complete novice. I don't understand AI. I remember that asked me to subscribe to some AI model, there's some app, and I subscribed to it. And then it started taking money. Just first month I had subscribed. The next month again it took money from me. So I told these guys, I said, look, hey, hello, discontinue this. The moment we said that, the app came and said, no, no, don't discontinue. We'll give you 2 free months of this. We'll give you this. We'll give you this more.
Correct.
Oh God, one second. Why have we disappeared?
No, I'm here only. Can you hear me?
Ah, okay, I can see you now. So
Yeah.
I'm saying that all these kinds of things are happening. It's people like you who are in this field, and you know much more about these things than people like us who are outsiders know. You'll have to start educating people. You'll have to start giving more of these kinds of uh, what shall I say talks on different media to make
Yeah.
people aware of this.
That's the
Because we
reason why
can't do it.
we got you on the panel so that I learn. I have this newsletter called as AI with a side eye, where you look at technology with a side eye and always question it. The volume one was
Okay.
about survival of the weakest, where we as humanity
Okay.
actually survived because we were the weakest and we
Yeah.
developed intelligence, but now we are outsourcing that intelligence. So how the hell do you become
Yeah.
a human? So that is something which
Yeah.
that newsletter talks about. Trust me,
True.
I have got 15,000 subscribers. Hardly 70 people have read it. So, which means I'll take from you. I'll take from you that I will tell that story better. How do you suggest I tell that story better?
You'll have to make it concise. You'll have to give it some headlines which matter to people.
Hmm.
It's like I always say, if you say, come to our gym for a healthier tomorrow, that may not get you anything. But if you say, do you want to lose 5 kilos in the next 7 days?
Hmm.
Then yeah, I want to lose. So how you peddle this or how you communicate this will have to be, can you have a catchphrase that gets people drawn into listening to this?
Correct. So
How
the
can you
new.
avoid how can you avoid AI taking over your job tomorrow?
Hmm. Yeah. So
Then
which
as a
is
youngster,
direct.
I'll come and listen to that.
So directly
So
communicating what
yeah,
value.
your beginning point has to be something that could be a fear point for them.
Hmm. Like a
If you
FOMO.
don't read or if you don't listen to my this speech, chances are by next year you lose your job to AI.
Hmm.
Then they'll come to you. But they're scared of that. It's a fear that will bring them to you.
Absolutely. Right now, sir, what I do, I make these films and I make Indian civilizational films. Matlab, what I do is I take Harry Potter, then I mix him with Nalanda University to showcase the like showcase
Yeah.
India globally. I take Lego, then I make it into a Mahabharat. Then I take F1, but I
Correct.
make the F1 track happen in Mumbai, which is a far-fetched
Correct.
dream. So I make
What you're doing is perfect because you're taking away, if you try and make it religious or spiritual, nobody will watch it. But
correct.
if you sugarcoat that into a different thing and do it differently, people will watch it.
Absolutely. That is what I'm trying to do. Actually, this narrative room is more to do with my learning, and people learn with me. And people are loving this session. Actually, you should see the comments which are coming in. And I
Yeah.
would want to also ask you, so the way to now approach AI and way to now approach the current AI age is for me as a as an as what do you what parting thoughts do you want to give the audience right now? What should they do, and how do they make their own story compelling, and what should they learn?
Frankly, I have no idea. But I think that what we were discussing just now, if people like you who are in this field, who know about things, if you can talk to more and more youngsters through these kinds of different channels, by
Hmm.
putting fear into them, only fear will give them. If you say, learn more and get more educated, nobody gives a damn. I'm fine as I am.
I agree
Make
with
me
you.
afraid. Make
Yeah.
me afraid that I will not have a job tomorrow. I will
Hmm.
not have a job tomorrow. I will suffer.
Hmm.
Now I'm 22 years old, and if by 25, in the next 3 years, AI will take over my job and I'll have nothing to do. Make me scared, then they'll come and learn AI and they'll understand AI. Because as I say, as somebody had mentioned to me that AI will not take your job, person who knows AI will take your job. So I
Hmm.
must always be the person who knows AI, which is why I'm joining an AI class. I don't need to, I'm not going to make an ad film. I don't even have a client,
Hmm.
but I'm learning because it's for my own thing that one day, if I'm sitting with somebody like you, right now I can't. I don't know enough about AI, but maybe one day, 6 months down the line, I should be able to have a conversation with you on AI. That is my
Hmm.
aim.
So
And I think
I would
every
really
youngster should have that aim.
so every youngster should have the aim of evolving right now. And you think
Yes.
the AI is not just a
Yes.
phase, and it is going to be the new normal, right, in the future?
It is. It is. It is. You have to. You cannot close your eyes and say this is not going to work. It is not going to affect me. AI will not have this. What human beings can do, AI can. You can't start with that thought. And I keep hearing that thought all the time. But for older people,
Hmm.
AI is okay. AI is another thing on the periphery. AI doesn't have the thing. It doesn't have my eye. What I can do, and I can get the models to do. AI can't do. That is wrong. You have to be open-minded and say, no, I want to learn AI. Because
Hmm.
AI, I may not make a film with AI tomorrow. I may not. I still may use models and the location and I'll still do that. But I must know AI. I must know that as an alternative that I can use.
Hmm.
That's very important.
Absolutely. I would like to ask the final question of our segment, and thank you so much. You have given us 2 hours, sir. I really appreciate
No,
this
no problem.
master class, and I will make
No,
sure
right.
that it's everywhere. But a final question right now, with when India had not opened its economy in '91, so brands were very less. Where there were very few iconic brands. Right now, every day somebody is making a brand. How the hell
Yeah.
that person can stand out in this cluttered market? What should that person or
I'll,
brand do?
I'll tell you, there was a time when every product had a product advantage. Yeah.
Hmm.
I handled Seat tires. And the Seat management, Mr. Goenka, told us that we have the kind of Italian technology that makes our
Hmm.
tires tougher. The rubber, the way we weave the thing is tougher. So we created the campaign of Born Tough, and I created the rhino as a symbol. Today, every tire company would have similar technology. So there's
Hmm.
no product advantage. Then there was a time
Right.
when companies had marketing advantage. That I had better packaging, I had shinier packaging, I had better pricing, I had better distribution, I had better sales force, I had better stockists who would sell my product, they would display my posters. Everything has the same thing. That's all gone away. You're in a supermarket, there's no one to push your product. People go and buy what they want. Everything has the same kind of packaging, whether it's a 2 rupee biscuit or a 200 rupee cake or a 2000 rupee something else. They all have shiny, beautiful packaging, beautiful logos. There's no marketing advantage. The only advantage that you'll have is the advertising advantage. There was a
Hmm.
survey done, I think, in the 60s or 70s in the US, where they did a blind test between Coke and Pepsi. Didn't show them
Right.
the labels, poured them in a glass, And I think over 62% people could not tell the difference between Coke and Pepsi. And even then, both these companies spend millions of dollars every year. What are they doing this for? There's no difference in their taste. They are creating an image for themselves. Pepsi is trying to say that we are for young people, we are for the new generation. The same damn product tastes the same as Coke. But I'm telling you, you have so a youngster would say, I'm not drinking Coke, yeah, Coke is for old fuddy duddies. I am young generation. So only thing that all brands will have to always create is create an image for themselves that is not actual, but it's an image that appeals to people.
Hmm.
To
Okay.
your again to your consumer segment. It appeals to that. A Pepsi appeals to the young people. It is ignoring all the old people.
Hmm.
When
Correct.
Coke says we are the sponsors of the World Cup cricket, official sponsors, Pepsi comes and says we are the unofficial sponsors of cricket. They're trying to be funny in a young way, which appeals
Hmm.
to youngsters. So advertising and any promotions in future will have to be something that creates an image. It's all about what we started with. It's all about storytelling. What kind of a story can you weave around your product that will make it look like it's a better product than everything else? What kind of a story can you make? And if you can make
Understood.
a better story, you'll sell your product. That's all
With a
that will
proper,
finally be.
with a very clear target in mind. A clear target.
Yeah.
You have to
That
have a
that is
clear
the beginning
target.
point.
Don't
Clear
appeal to
target, no, you can't appeal to everybody. Clear target, clear proposition.
everyone.
Pepsi, if they get into we are a better taste, Coke has the secret formula, even we have a secret formula, we have better taste than that, 35% people like, then count. That's not creating an image. You're giving me statistics. I'm not interested in statistics. Create an image for me saying that for youngsters, this is the product.
Hmm.
Create an image. Every product must create an image that they feel appeals to their target group. If
Hmm.
Pepsi said, I want to appeal to everybody, then they can't say this is for the new generation. And what about the old generation? You're ignoring all of them. But that's
Hmm.
fine. Coke sells better all over the world, but Pepsi sells better in the US.
Hmm.
So you have to decide on your appeal, which may not be for everybody. You cannot please everybody
Correct.
in anything,
Ab-
in marketing, in politics, in everything. A political party has to take a stand and say, I'm appealing to Hindus. I
Hmm.
don't give a damn other. I'm appealing to Muslims. And they're
Hmm.
winning like that. By doing that, what are they doing? They're segmenting. They're segmenting their target groups.
Hmm. And which is
I'm
very
appealing
important.
to I'm appealing to Marathas. I'm appealing to OBCs.
Hmm.
I'm appealing to a Muslim party comes to Mumbai and they can win elections because they're saying we are for Muslims. What are they doing? They're
Correct.
segmenting their target group. They're saying ignore the Hindus. The Hindus are not going to vote for us anyway. The Hindus come and say forget the Muslims and Christians. They are not going to vote for us. So concentrate on Hindus. So what they are doing is what marketing people also are doing. Find your target group and concentrate on them.
Understood. So
You
don't
can't
you think,
you can't please the world.
but then in that sense, in the final question, I wouldn't take much of your time. How does India target itself as a country?
You see, if you keep on talking of third largest economy and all that, that makes sense to financial people. They understand all that. So common man, he is worried about how much time does it take for me to go from one place to the other, how much do my tomatoes cost, and how much is the diesel price. So whether you're third largest or tenth largest, it makes no difference to me. What difference does it make to me? Is how a common man thinks. So for India, we have to create a unique thing. Like I think if had to write a line for India, I would say what Nelson Mandela had done for South Africa when he said we are a rainbow nation. They're not really a rainbow nation. They're only blacks and whites. We are truly a rainbow nation. So I think if
Yeah.
India can promote ourselves as a rainbow of emotions, a rainbow of expertise, we have expertise in everything. All our Indians are ruling big companies the world over. But we're a rainbow of everything. We have different religions, we have different communities, we have different economy. We are truly a rainbow nation. And if we can create that as an image to take forward, that will be great.
That will be rebranding India from the LGBTQ community who has taken the rainbow as the symbol
Everything.
also.
We have everything. We have everything.
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. It has been an amazing conversation, sir. People have been
I had
messaging.
a,
Or Ankita from the chat is saying this podcast is one of the best things I've invested my time on this week. Thank you,
thank
Bharat
you
sir.
so much, Ankita. Thank you,
People have been
Ankita. You're very kind.
going. This will be uploaded any which ways. People have joined in live. They have been lucky. They saw it uncut, no editing, nothing. Any which ways, we filmmakers, we make something out of edit only. But this
Yeah, yes.
to be has to have technical problems, has to be natural, has to be raw, and that is what Bharat
Yeah.
sir is all about. So thank you so much, sir, for being part of this conversation.
I had a great time. Thank you for inviting me. I had a very enjoyable evening. Thank you.
Same here, sir. I will take your leave. Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
So that has been the episode 2 of the Narrative Room. I hope it has been an engaging session because I have learned a lot. I have learned the entire marketing masterclass, narrative masterclass from an experienced professional with decades of experience. And I've learned it and distilled it into 2 hours. And I hope you guys have enjoyed this particular conversation. I want you to like, share, and subscribe this particular conversation because it's very essential for all of us to have this particular knowledge in the age of AI. Please follow me on LinkedIn. Please follow me on YouTube. Subscribe to me on YouTube. Follow me on Instagram. Also, subscribe on my Substack. And I'm there on multiple platforms. It gets supremely tiring, but it's very essential with, of course, with my job of, servicing multiple brands, making multiple films, taking sessions. This particular thing is what I feel I can give back to the community. And that is the reason why I want you to share this. So I get the motivation to do this again. The episode 3 will be out in a few weeks. I will plan an amazing guest like this also. I will also plan some amazing brands. I hope you have enjoyed this and thank you so much for being part of this. Take care.